Hello, just trying to get on here. It was a hectic night trying to get over here, but we're getting everything up, rolling, logged in. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's see here. There you go. Hello, hello. Jennifer. Hello, hello. Cool. Last one. What's up, everybody? We're getting rocking and rolling here. Just a second. Just trying to get everything set up. We're running a little bit late tonight, and then also it was like a accident, so we couldn't get through one road. We had to kind of run around a different direction. Let me see if we can get you moved over. Go. We'll try that. There you go. Queensland, Australia. Good evening, or good morning over there, actually. Sorry. There you go. Instagram, I'll have to do. For some reason, it's not. Can't get you the right size. That's fine. Hello, hello. Good to see everybody. Just get everything set up real quick here. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Excited to be back. We're able to do a couple like random lives throughout the week. Now we're back Thursday. Hard to believe. Super excited. We got a bunch of stuff going on. I got a packed day tomorrow. And then I finish my last appointment. We jump in the car and head down to Durham, North Carolina. For our meet and greet. We're super excited about that. It's going to be 5 of us there. So 5 of the Narc Avengers are going to be there in Durham, North Carolina, and talking up a storm. Interact with different people, just meet and greet. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm predicting over 100 people. So I think it's going to be pretty crazy, pretty awesome. But myself is going to be there. Mental Healness, Lee. You got Bree with Abusive Abuse. And you've got Dr. Kara McAvoy, and then you've got Lisa Sunny from Stronger Than Before. So 5 of us is going to be there. So we're super excited about that. Pull you guys a little bit closer here. We're super excited about that. Come back, comments. Where'd it go? There you go. Super excited about that. So if you're in the North Carolina area, come out. Love to be able to interact with you guys. Love to be able to talk to you guys. But yeah, super excited. Thursday Night Fire, here for it. Yep. Glad you're here for it. What's up, Brittany? Got everybody joining and getting it ready to rock and roll. What do you guys want to talk about today? Narcissism? Good, that's what I came to talk about. Packing up the car. Yep, we'll be packing up tomorrow. I finished my last appointment at 2. I think. Let me jump in the car and head out. North Carolina, here we come. But anyways, super excited. So if you guys are in the area, check us out. So we're going to be in Durham, North Carolina. We're going to be there Saturday, 3 to 6. Lee got the banner made just a little bit ago. So we're going to have a banner hung up of Narc Avengers. So I was starting to get official. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see, I'm slowly getting my branding switched around. So we finally got the RM, Raw Motivations, and my little signature underneath. So, super excited. So we're getting ready to rock and roll a lot of different ways. But thank you guys so much for being here. Jennifer, you did notice. Yes, I did get a haircut. A little messed up with the hat. But yes, did get a haircut and a trim. Had to look official for the meet and greet. Which logo did I pick? I did a combination, actually. So I like the military one, like the stencil one that you see. and then the underneath the raw motivations is actually a different font from the other logo kind of thing. So wanted to get that locked in so we can see about maybe doing some merch down the road, some other things. So super excited from it. Feel like there was something I was going to tell you guys, but I don't remember. Like I not that I had like a story, but I feel like I had something like a thought or an illustration or something. I don't remember what it was from. I've been talking a lot recently about like enabling narcissists, and I think more people enable narcissists not even realizing that's what they're doing. A lot of times that enabling is from how they're acting, how they're treating, like how they keep going back. Going back to a narcissist is enabling the thought of like, you're obsessed with me, and that's how the narcissist thinks. Like whenever you go back time and time again. There's something else with that though that I was going to be talking about. But yeah, I had like a minor concussion the other day, so it probably just like slipped my mind. But we'll get back at it. All right, let's get some questions. What do we got going on? Can you talk about a narc and why they always want to win? So they just always don't want to be held accountable. Like they don't want to deal with shame and guilt. So like winning to them is not having to deal with that. Okay? Like they're always gonna like run from that. Why does a narc give the silent treatment? To make you feel crazy and make you come back and apologize for stuff that you didn't do. Yeah, it's just a minor concussion. That's why I said minor. That means it's nothing to worry about. I'm actually okay. It's just my neck that hurts like a lot. It's like whiplash kind of a thing, but it's all good. It's the price I pay for being crazy. How can we truly identify a narc? Eliminate misconceptions. Know the 9 traits. Understand them. Be able to understand like how they look in real life. And at the end of the day, toxic is toxic. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if they're bona fide, diagnosed narcissist or not. From the United States, Virginia. This is the worst he's ever been. Why do they interrupt you in mid-sentence? Power and control. Show you who's in charge. Is it true that one person that can take on narcissist has BPD? Not necessarily. Can 2 narcs be in a relationship? Yes. And it looks toxic. Go look at Lee's post. He does narc on narc skits. My narc just rang me, no caller ID, called me so many bad names, said he's with a new girl. Yeah, so like if you're struggling with like the narcissist still contacting you and calling you, which I'm sure a lot of people are, if you've broken up with a narcissist, like you're still probably getting like calls or texts a lot of times. Like one, go ahead and block them, and then you're like, okay, I blocked them, but now they're calling from all these other different numbers. Okay, 2, you've got different. Your carrier has their own kind of like filtering and blocking system that you can actually add to your phone if you're on some major carriers. You can also get Robo Killer. That's a popular one. It costs a little bit, but it also does block a lot of stuff. So it's like super helpful. And then when that doesn't work, like just change your number. So many people get locked into that number. I've had this number forever, okay? And you are going to keep having this abuse forever, like until you change it. So sometimes you just need to change your number. It's not that big a deal at the end of the day. A lot of times people make up the change the number thing to be like a giant big deal. My ex showed him I would drive me after months of ignoring me, and now he's saying he can't talk. Okay, that's rude. So I'll be like, okay, let's not talk. Let's stay apart. Why does the narc think responsible for their boredom, even after they turn down all of your suggestions? I don't really have a good answer for that one. There's a lot more things that can go on with that, so I don't know. That one's a hard one. He left 3 times. At 4, I leave him. Now he's trying again. We got children. It's probably just manipulation. Typically it is. What are the ways they test the waters for Hoover? Anything to see if you answer. Like if you answer, then like the Hoover worked. They'll watch your story. They'll like your post. They'll text you. They'll call you. They'll have someone else reach out. Like anything, really. To become diagnosed, do you take a pass? Do you take a test And couldn't you just lie to pass it? Yeah, someone could just lie to pass it. I have a co-parent with my narc, and any advice on a pick up and drop off, they always turn into fights. Look up parallel parenting, because you're not really going to be able to co-parent with a toxic person. You might have to look at third-party drop-offs. Why do you think they hoover then ghost when you reply? A lot of times that's just to see like if you're going to respond. Like it's just kind of like holding the carrot out for you to keep trying. The narc I dealt with said he told a psychologist about my abusive behavior, and she told him I was a very toxic person. Yeah, a lot of times they'll do that. That's why, like, when they go to therapy, you have to be very careful. Like, is there change behavior? And that's also why you don't go with them. I'm at the point I'm fighting through the discard. It's brutal. Yeah, no, absolutely. Reach out if you want to talk to be able to help like work through that or be able to work through the trauma bond, because like that's who I talk to on a day-to-day basis is people trying to break through the trauma bond, and then how are they going to set their mindset down the road. What does it mean when there's no hoover? It means that you have the freedom to be able to actually live your life, and they're not going to come after you. But you never know. Like, you can't say what if there's no hoover if you're 6 months out, because you haven't lived 10 more years to see if the hoover is going to come. You never know. Do narcissists hate needy people? A lot of times they just don't care about any people. Why do we continue the cycle of being with a narc if we can identify and label the person as such? Because you've been groomed into going back. You've been addicted to another person, and you've been stuck in a trauma bond. So again, don't stay stuck in a trauma bond. 1, there's therapy. 2, there's coaches. Like, work on getting broken free of the trauma bond. I talk to people every single day, helping them like break free from the trauma bond. Like, you can, if you want, like, go to my website, rawmotivations.com, click on the links that I have, like, to be able to schedule a one-on-one. Let's start talking. Let's work on your healing, growth, and change. Would love to be able to do that. Brensky, what's up? Awesome to see you, man. Like, let's work on that healing, growth, and change. If you don't want to talk to me, if you don't want to talk to self-aware narcissist or have me coach you, that's totally fine. That's not going to hurt my feelings. Then go over and talk to Lisa Sunny. Like, check out her trauma bond course. She's got a 12-week course that you can take to help break in the trauma bond. It's a little bit different. It's not the same, but it's 100% like great information, great material. She's got a journal as well. You've got Bree with Abuse is Abuse. You've got like just type in hashtag Narc Avengers. Like, I love talking to people every single day. Like this week, honestly, I had some of the best conversations that I've had with people in a good while. Honestly, they were like freaking awesome. Like, I've got people that are, training for the Olympics that I'm talking to them about like mindset. Like, that gets me like freaking fired up. Like, when we talk about like mindset, intentionality, how you like rewire your mindset and how you focus on like the future intention of who you want to be. Like, that stuff is like freaking awesome. Like, got to talk to a narcissist that like has been making some like good progress. Like, we actually met with him and his wife to kind of like assess to see if like the wool's getting pulled over my eyes. So it's cool. Like, there's a lot of different stuff that's been happening. Got to talk to someone else that it was just, we were talking through like anxiety and like how to be able to like calm down some like with the narcissist, but then also like moving forward, like, who are you? Like, what's actually going on? Like that kind of stuff, like, freaking pumps me up. So I was like super excited. We got to talk with a lot of awesome people. So like, again, you can do coaching with me, you can do coaching with someone else, but like, if you feel like you're stuck in a rut and you keep going through the same stuff time and time again, the trauma bond or whatever it is, like, if you feel like you're in a cycle, break the cycle. Don't sit there and be content with it. Do whatever it takes to be able to get out. With trauma bond, it's built on hope, potential, or cognitive dissonance. And the first way to be able to break out of it is you have to start acknowledging the truth, and then you have to be able to find the story. And that's what I work with people on a day-to-day basis, getting down below the emotions and the feelings to figure out what's the story you're telling yourself. What's the story that you're telling yourself? And then what do you need to do to change it so you're actually believing in the truth and focusing on the truth of the situation? Do you believe that overthinking amplifies the trauma bond? Sure. Not necessarily. I think that thinking the wrong thing amplifies the trauma bond. That's all it is. It's someone believing and thinking the wrong story. Okay? Vicky, what's up? Ready for your drive? She's coming out from Chicago. Brittany's coming from Texas. Super excited to see people on Saturday in Durham, North Carolina. Honeysuckle at Lakewood, 3 to 6 p.m. If you're around that area, come check it out. Can you speak on self-accountability, deeply heal, and take accountability versus just blaming the narc person? I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm not sure what you're asking from the narc perspective, from the victim's perspective. It's interesting. I'm just not sure what you're. Oh, you're already in West Virginia. Awesome. You're like super close. I keep getting friend requests on my Facebook. Maybe it's my ex, possibly. Yeah. It's been over a year of no contact with my ex. Of course, is a narcissist. That's good. A year is good. Keep it up. Is there a link between narcissism and alcoholism? Not necessarily, but narcissists like to sedate. So a lot of times they'll use drugs, alcohol, sex, people, work, whatever. How should I handle narcissistic rage after declining his attempts to hoover at pickups? Okay, so we're talking about like, so you probably want to look at parallel parenting, and you want to look at like third party stuff, because you don't want to have any interaction with him. Got everybody jumping in here. Awesome. Chris, good to see you. I didn't say hi to you earlier. Why do they silent stalk when they have another supply? Control. Hey, Le Disco Mama. What's up? If you guys don't follow on TikTok, we got Le Disco Mama in the house. Check out SJ. She's got a really awesome page. She got a lot of skits too. You can recognize her by a lot of the skits she's done recently with while she's smoking her fake cigarette. So check out Le Disco Mama if you guys aren't following her. Coach SJ, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've done a couple of videos on breaking the trauma bond. You can check those out on YouTube, kind of what I mentioned earlier. First, acknowledging the truth, and then figuring out how to change the story. That's why I work with people on a day-to-day basis, because a lot of people can't identify the story that they believe. It's either very hard for them to see, or it's like so subconscious, like they're just going through life operating on the same like base infrastructure of what they're believing, what they're doing, what they're saying, and not actually like questioning that. So as a result, it just like keeps happening over and over and over. Future faking. Future faking is the idea that I'm promising you something in the future that I have no intention of fulfilling. I'm just excited to get away from the problem in the moment. If I can get away from the problem in the moment, then we're totally fine. Do narcissists feel relief ever when their lies are finally exposed? No, not necessarily, unless they're like getting on the self-aware path. But like lies being exposed typically is like, now we got to switch into victim mode. Been working on trauma bond for months. It's going well with no contact. No contact is key for trauma bond. I don't think you can fully break it if you're in contact, to be honest. Very happy that I was able to find this healing. You guys are great. I feel better just listening and learning how it applies to my healing. Absolutely. We'd love to be able to try to help and like work anytime. Yeah, no, a lot of your stories are unconscious because you have stories that are in your life from early childhood development, from your parents. You have them from the school you got brought up in, from the college you went to, from the religion that you're in, from previous relationships, like all that kind of stuff. Like you have a lot of stuff like that that is ingrained in you, that changes your perception, your idea of like life. So you have to be careful what the story is, because you're telling yourself a story. You have emotions that kick off, and then your feelings pop in and they tell you what to feel about those emotions. And as a result, you start believing a story in your head that keeps you going back to the narcissist. Maybe they're going to change. Maybe they'll understand. Maybe this time, maybe the 18th time they'll be different. Maybe they won't treat me the same way that they treated me before. Maybe they're going to get self-aware. Maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe I'm the toxic one. Maybe I'm the narcissist. Like all the different things. Okay. A lot of those are like the different stories that people have in their head. But the problem is, until they do the work and get down below the surface, they're not going to find it. Okay. Self-awareness from a narcissist perspective. So like a narcissist like doesn't want to be self-aware, and they're always running from it. So like from my perspective, like being self-aware is helpful in identifying behaviors, but a lot of times it also sucks too, because the stuff that I didn't see before, the stuff that I refused to see before, I now see and I now have to deal with, which makes it a lot more harder than what it was before. Charlize, thanks so much. A story like you don't deserve any better? Yeah, no, absolutely. That a lot of times I tie into the idea of cognitive dissonance. So a lot of you've heard like my illustration of cognitive dissonance, where the narcissist slaps you in the face, then says, I love you, slap you in the face, say, I love you, slap you in the face, say, I love you, slap you in the face, say, I love you. After they do that for so many times, like you start thinking either one, this is all the love that I can get, or this is all the love that I'm worth. Or you start thinking like, this is what love actually is. Like, this is what love is, because I got brought up this way. I learned love, or I learned love from my partner. Or you start thinking, hey, this is all the stuff I have to do to get love. So let me go through the argument. Let me cause frustration. Let me get upset. Let me react so that I can get that love. That's the idea of some of that cognitive dissonance in like the romantic relationship that really confuses a lot of people. Candace, thanks so much. Yeah, the Narc app. If you guys haven't had a chance to be able to check it out, NARC. That's all you have to type in. Makes it super easy. NARC, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. We've got weekly lives on Monday night that we go in depth about stuff. People, wait, when you come in as a premium supporter, you log in, you get on YouTube, we drop you a link, you can come live on screen, you can talk. We can have our own little session right there, just be able to talk through stuff. Like, that's what that's for. You can go back, you can review other different sessions that we have. We also have the monthly coaching where it's either me or bringing in some like high performing people like around the country, like trying to help people heal, change, and grow. Like, we're super excited. It's like group coaching at that point that happens every month, plus the exclusive lives, plus like all the coursework, plus being able to track your no contact, be able to record your truth, be able to ask advice from different people. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Is demanding unsafe sex a trait of a person with narcissistic personality disorder? I don't think you can like tie those two together, but it's common. But I don't think you can like link those two. Why does my ex keep asking me for one last sex session? Probably wants to be with you, then he can dump you. Or if you're already apart, then they just want to get something from you. Do you think only codependents are with narcissists, or were they manipulated and trauma bonded? Everybody's manipulated and trauma bonded. It's not just codependents. Amazing to think of it this way: the narcissist gets with the people who either have no boundaries or have no self-worth because they're the easiest to manipulate, but it doesn't mean they don't have everybody else. It's called the Narc app, NARC. Download it in Apple or Google Play. So anywhere you go to get an app, just type in NARC. That'll pull right up. I'm new here. Are you a narcissist or a therapist? I'm a narcissist. I'm not a certified therapist, but I do coach people. I work with 95% of people that I work with are narcissistic survivors, narcissistic abuse survivors, and the other 5% are narcissists. If you're forgiving / unfazed during a de-evaluation instead of being hurt, that it upsets them, you're not having a hurt response leading to discard, not having the effect of manipulation they intend. So like, if you're giving them like a different response than like what they expect, like, will that be like frustrating to them? Like, yeah, if you don't like react, like if you don't give them what they want, then yeah, for sure. I experienced their delight in dragging you down, getting you to rate yourself. Yeah. Is not being able to accept the truth about someone part of the trauma bond? Yes, I would say so. And part of that is because you're not looking at what they're demonstrating, you look at what they're saying. Or you're looking at what you're projecting on them. Like, you're looking at like, hey, this is what I want in this relationship, so therefore it is. And then when you start to actually look at it and like write it down, you're like, actually, it never existed. Think of it this way. When you look back on the relationship, think of it as you're looking out on a string of mountains. And as you look back on the relationship, all you can see from a distance is you can just see the peaks. I was like, my hand's like really red. I've been like leaning on the table. I was like, why is it so red in the camera? I didn't like just kill somebody. This is weird. So anyways, you like look far in the distance and you can see the peaks. That's all you can see is like the peaks. And the thing is, over a period of time, you start thinking, wait a second, I can only see those good moments, the good times down the road, the good times that I have with the narcissist. I can only see the peaks of those mountains. The thing that you can't see from far away is you can't see the pits in between. And people start thinking that that relationship was made up with the peaks. They start thinking that, hey, this relationship actually wasn't that bad because all I see is like the top layer of everything. I don't see the bullshit underneath. So what you have to do is like, imagine you're now a drone and you go high up above the mountains. You're flying in a plane. You look down in a topographical sense. You know what you see? That those peaks, those good times, the peaks of the mountains are like this. If you look at it in a linear time sense, this peak is really small. but the pit beside it is pretty big. And the thing is, people over a period of time, they stop thinking and they stop looking at the truth of the situation. They stop asking themselves with a simple type of a question. They stop asking with the word demonstrate. How did my narcissist demonstrate honesty? How did they demonstrate love? How they demonstrate affection? How they demonstrate faithfulness? How did they demonstrate? By their actions, because their actions are the only thing that you can go off of. You can't go off of the words. You can't go off of what they're telling you. You can only go off of that consistent demonstration of action that they're going to have. And as you see that over a period of time, you're like, wait a second, this doesn't match up. They've been telling me something, but every time I look at it, it's not true. They've been showering me with gifts, but every time I look at that, like, it hasn't changed anything. They'll be telling me something's going to happen in the future, and it still hasn't happened. A narcissist will do three things to change and adjust your reality. They either change stuff in the past by telling you it doesn't actually exist. They'll adjust your perspective in the present by telling you, like, hey, like, this thing is minimized. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's not that big a deal. Focus on the things that I'm doing, or they'll change it in the future with telling you things that aren't going to happen. That's how narcissists change your perspective and your reality in three different ways. That's gaslighting, love bombing, and future faking. Kirsten, you don't have to be ashamed that you're still talking to the narcissist. There's a lot of people that are still talking to the narcissist and they don't know how to break it. Oftentimes they're stuck on that hope. They're stuck on the potential. When you think about it, like, think of it this way. The narcissist is addicted. The narcissist is an addicted slave to narcissism. They don't have freedom. Everybody's like, they always have it better. Like, they're out free running around and I'm here like crying and broken apart. They don't have freedom. Narcissist is addicted to compulsion and their impulses. They're going to keep doing the same cycle over and over again. But here's the thing you need to understand is, just like the narcissist is addicted to what they want to do, their cycle, they'll make you addicted to them, but they're addicted on the supply. They're addicted on the mask. So what happens is, when the narcissist is addicted on that supply, and you're there saying, like, I want to just stay, I want to just help them, I want to just make them better. Do you know what you're actually doing? You're enabling them to be more narcissistic. Because you are feeding an addiction. What's the one thing you don't do when you're trying to get someone free of, like, drugs or alcohol? You don't show up to their house with a six-pack and be like, hey, let's get drunk. You don't give them the drugs. There's so many people that think they're doing the loving thing by staying in the relationship and trying to help the person, when they're actually just enabling it even more. What's helpful is set a boundary, hold them accountable, and if that means you leave, then you leave. Okay? It's okay if you're stuck in it. But one, understand what you're doing to yourself, to them, and then understand the truth of the situation, that you're hoping for something that's not going to happen, and you know that by the consistent demonstration that they've had in their relationship with you. Narcissists are not trauma bonded as well. Trauma bond is based on hope, potential, or cognitive dissonance, okay? So the hope of, like, someone changing it and getting better, narcissist doesn't care. The potential of what someone else has, narcissist knows you have potential, but they're not hoping on that. They take that. And then the cognitive dissonance of, like, believing something that's different, like the narcissist puts that on you, they're not confused about what they're doing. They're gaslighting you, they're manipulating you, they're trying to do anything they can for what they want. Narcissists don't experience trauma bond. That's a good question, though. Why do I/we sometimes feel like we're acting like them or becoming a narc, especially when I get frustrated and start yelling at them about all the things they've been doing, they've done in the past? So a lot of that would be reactive abuse, where the narcissist pushes you time and time and time and time and time again until you get to the place where you snap, and then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, like, why are you yelling at me? Like, calm down, bro. Like, what's actually going on? Like, you're the abusive one now. So yeah, oftentimes you pick up, like, narcissistic fleas. You pick up different things that you take out of the relationship. Maybe that's lying. Maybe that's like spouting off, getting upset, like stuff like that. Maybe it's different things like that that you take out of the relationship that you've developed and grown in that relationship or picked up from the narcissist, sometimes just to survive. But the thing is, if you know that you've picked them up, then that means you can also do something to change them. Because that's the difference between you and the narcissist, is identifying where you are. Think of the meet and greet that's coming up on Saturday, Durham, North Carolina. If you want to get there, so we've got Vicky and we've got Brittany that are driving from Chicago and that are driving from Texas. If they want to get there, they're not going to use a map, because like who uses a map anymore, right? They're not going to be able to get there if they wake up in the morning and their phone's dead. They'll be like, I'm not sure which direction I'm supposed to go, because they don't know exactly where they are to be able to find the right script to be able to get to the place they're trying to go. That's the difference between the narcissist and you. Because when you start identifying, hey, I've got narcissistic fleas, I've got stuff that I've picked up, I've got some of this stuff that like I don't like, the narcissist sees that stuff and they're like, I'm unwilling to identify with that, so I'm going to keep moving on with my life. I'm going to go, the grass is greener, find someone else, keep moving on. The difference between you and a narcissist a lot of times is you can identify where you are. If you can identify where you are, you can say, hey, this is where I want to go. You can actually build a plan of healing, growth, and change to become happy, healthy, and whole. But you can't do that until you acknowledge where you are first. And that's the thing. When people get out of the relationship, a lot of times they don't want to acknowledge where they actually are. They're frustrated. They're embarrassed. They're sad. They're angry. Everything. But they don't want to say like, hey, this is where I am. The first step is acknowledging where you are. It sucks, yes. But you know what sucks even worse than acknowledging, hey, this is where I am, this is the shit that I'm in right now, is staying there in the same shit for 10 years because you're unwilling to acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge where you are, and then let's work on a growth of healing, growth, and change. Everybody here who's like wondering, like, am I stuck in a trauma bond? I don't know how to get away. Reach out for help. Talk to a therapist, talk to a coach, like start going through a trauma bond recovery course, like start working on that. Because if you don't, if you don't work on changing your perspective, if you don't work on changing where you are, then a year down the road when you're in the same place, you shouldn't be frustrated about it. And I'm not coming at people, because I know there's people that have been stuck in a while. And some of it is because you haven't had the education, you haven't had the information. So I'm not trying to come at people, but I'm saying like, hey, this is your moment. Like, take the time and say, hey, I'm going to start focusing on my healing, my growth, my change. Get with a therapist, get with a coach. If you don't want to work with me, then type in hashtag Narc Avengers, find one of the other 15 and get someone to work with, because your healing matters. Your change matters. That's what I try to do on a day-to-day basis, to break people out of the trauma bond, get them through limbo land and the rumination, and then build a healthy boundaries for themselves moving forward to not be with narcissists in the future or in the past. So if you're stuck, break that. Let's get you healing and change. Okay? Do I ever look back and wish I treated people differently? Yes. So when they're honest and say that they're aware and they do a bunch of toxic shit, do they want to stay with you if you say you understand why they do it, enabling them? Huh? If they're honest and they're aware and they're still doing toxic stuff, leave, because that means they know what they're doing and they don't even care even more. Is it unhealthy to seek the kind of love promised by a narc and a healthy partner, or is that a type of love unrealistic, doesn't exist in life, too good to be true? The narcissist will make it too good to be true. Like, they'll make you fall in love with the Disneyland version that doesn't exist long term. But it's not to say that love isn't possible with the right person. How does one learn to say no? People tell me I'm too nice and never say no. You have to realize what you're sacrificing. Like the the greatest leaders, coaches, like everything out there are not known by who they say yes to. They're known by who they say no to, because they know where they're going. If you struggle to say no, if you're not sure how to say no to someone, that means you don't know yourself. You don't know where you're going. You probably don't know what you want in life, and you don't have a vision of who you are and who you want to be. Because you're giving away pieces of yourself to every single person out there, then you don't actually know who yourself is. Okay? 34 years, just learned 6 weeks ago about narcissism. Hey, Laura, I want you to know you're not alone. Awesome lady that I coach has been at 35 years, so she's got one over you. You're not alone. A narcissist capable of shadow work? I think so. I don't have enough info on that, and I think I've done some stuff with that with my therapist, but I wouldn't necessarily call it shadow work. I'd have to like look into it a little bit more. Yeah, the Wake Up Warrior Challenge is pretty amazing. We actually got 2 guys that are going through it right now. But it's absolutely incredible. It changed my life. I would love to have everybody go through it, because I think if we had more survivors go through it, like they would really start honing in on who they actually are. Because a lot of times people coming out of a narcissistic relationship no longer know who they are. I wasn't one-upping one survivor over another, saying 35 years. Okay, I'm sorry I said it so flippantly. I was saying that, hey, she's not alone. She's been at 34 years. It's another person I coached has done it 35 years. We're all not alone. People have been in this stuff for 6 months, which feels like 6 years, or they've been at 34 years, which feels like a lifetime. The more I'm learning about NPD, the more I accept that they're mentally sick people. They didn't choose to have NPD, but the illness makes them crippled internally. They don't choose to have NPD, but they choose to do the decisions that they make on a day-to-day basis. They choose to have the behaviors. Like, I chose to cheat on my wife. It wasn't like, oh, I can't, like, I'm going to cheat on my wife because I have NPD. That's bullshit. Told my narc I was looking into therapy and medication to be able to deal with a toxic situation. He felt guilty and said, don't take medication because of me. Focus on yourself. Don't worry about what he's saying. Is there a connection between them watching movies on repeat? I feel like you watch them to learn some new lines. Can you get someone with narcissism to even get to the point of considering something like warrior? How can they ever be open to that? Any advice to put it in the narc's hands? So the thing is, they have to be open to change. It's not open to warrior, because it doesn't matter. I can have an empath go through it and get nothing out of it. I can have a narcissist go through and get nothing out of it, because it all depends on how honest you are and putting in the work. Wake Up Warrior stuff is like freaking amazing, and it's freaking hard and intense to do. And put in a toxic person's hands that doesn't want to heal and change, they could probably use it to manipulate it. But put it in someone's hands that wants to change their life, that's willing to break everything down to build it back up, it's powerful. That showed me the lies that I had in my life. I have a narc parent, and I don't want to go no contact. Set boundaries, and that make sure they have consequences, and then being willing to follow up on them. Is it religious based? It was not founded on religion, and it was not designed with religious intent. Now the actual founder has got like baptized, a couple other things, but it still is very like vague. So he comes from a Christian perspective now, but the course is not based on Christianity, if that makes sense. Honestly, if it had been religious based when I first went through it, I probably wouldn't have done it. Because I grew up in the church. I grew up as a Christian and like going through this whole like show up to church every single day kind of a thing. And that's one of the things that attracted me to Wake Up Warrior, of like learn to actually like win at life as far as like living the warrior's way. So being real, being raw, being relevant to produce results, and learning how to actually rewire my mind to think the right thoughts, to go through the right answers of like what's actually real, what's actually true, what's actually honest. Like, you fall apart if you try to go into the warrior stuff and you're not going to be honest. You're not going to get anything out of it. That's why it only works if people actually like want it to work. If people actually want to put in the work. You can go onto my website, Raw Motivations. There's a warrior tab there. You can actually click that. You can kind of click through, watch a couple of videos, and then you can click to actually go to their website. I've got a little piece there that has like a discount code because I'm partnering with them. Then you can watch the video that they have there. It's intense. It's been geared over the years for a lot of men, but there's a lot more women that are coming through it now. Like they're like, not that they like only kept it for men, but that's who it was originally intended. The guy was a man that screwed up his entire life, and he's like, hey, I don't know how to be a man. You know, well, the first step to being a man is to stop fucking lying. I think that's the first step for everybody. But like going through that system and having like a tool to be able to change your life, change your mindset, change your story, change your life is huge. That's the stuff that I do every single day. The stuff that I teach, the stuff that I help people walk through to be able to break the trauma bond, to be able to realign themselves in truth. That's the stuff I do on a day-to-day basis with the warrior stuff. Why they said awful stabbing and marks and switch back to being loving, very confusing. That's cognitive dissonance right there. That's exactly what it is. Doing something awful, then switching back. What it does is it makes you think that what they just did is acceptable and that you're stupid for bringing up that it's not. Do you see any correlation with narcissists using porn and cheating? It goes hand in hand with entitlement and ego. Also, narcs claim they've reached out to women for validation and anxiety. Yeah, I mean, they do. I would say it's like a hard correlation, but you have like narcissists who are addicted to porn, to cheating, to drugs, alcohol, like all that kind of stuff. Can narc change and make it work with a new supply be genuine? Can they be genuine? Can a narcissist change, make it work with a new supply? If a narcissist is willing to be honest, vulnerable, and show consistent change, to get into therapy, to rewire their entire mindset, to change their life. The thing is, when you look at the new supply and you're like, oh my gosh, they have it so much better. They don't. All you're watching is the next big production from the narcissist. All the passive aggressive behavior and remarks, is this also common in narcissism? Yes, covert narcissism. Check out on YouTube. I did 2 videos the other day on covert narcissism. It goes a little bit more into that. Passive aggressive, but also like very intent a lot of times on their image. Can narcs become obsessed with old supply that rejects them? Yes, absolutely. I'm forced to go to sports activities with the narc. Should I act like the narc isn't there or say hello? I don't want to feed his narcissism. Don't feed it. Like pretend he doesn't even exist. Can a narcissist change without actual therapy? No. My YouTube is Raw Motivations. My TikTok is Raw Motivations. My Facebook is Raw Motivations. My Twitter is Raw Motivations. And my Instagram is Raw Motivations. And Pinterest. But we haven't even started it up. I googled Raw Motivations the other day, and I started seeing like stuff pop up from like Pinterest, and I was like, "What the heck? I'm not on Pinterest." And I saw people were like actually like pinning some of my videos somehow on Pinterest. So I was like, "Well, I guess we have to get on Pinterest now." How can I best deal with the Mirror campaign? Live your life in truth and with the people that you value and that are honest with you, and ignore it. My narc likes to accuse me of being manipulative and having ulterior motives. Sounds like projection. Like I'm manipulative and I have ulterior motives, so I'll call those out on you. So then you take so long explaining and denying it, I get away with it. When I got the silent treatment, I got so stressed out from it, I ended up getting sick for months, and you didn't care. I don't care when you get sick. Would a narc use his 2-year-old child in triangulation with a new supply and with me? Yes, absolutely. It's a great way to do it. Why they act educated and loose after discard? For facade, proud, facade. Like they don't really care. I think my narc is reverse hoovering for months. So shut it down. Reverse hoover only works if you go back or if you entertain it. It's like triangulation. Triangulation only works if you have all 3 corners of the triangles. Yes, I'm the narcissist. It only works if you have all 3 corners of the triangles. If you take out one corner of the triangle, it's just a line. Like there's no place to actually go. If you take out one whole section of the triangle, like there's no triangle. Okay. Triangulation only works when you let it work too. Okay. Wonder if I don't know how to set boundaries, or do I? Because my choices get narrow. Yeah, your choices probably do get narrow. Do I stay in a toxic relationship, or do I leave? I just did a video the other day on YouTube that talks about like tips for setting boundaries. Because a lot of times people don't understand how to set boundaries. Why is he already lying to his new supply after only 2 months? He lies to everybody. It doesn't matter with the new supply. He doesn't even care about that. He was lying to the new supply on the first. Good answer. He was lying to the new supply on the first day because he walked into that new supply and he said, "Hey, you like my mask?" Okay. My ex got married 3 weeks ago. In 2 days, he checked in on Facebook to the city where I work with eyeballs emojis. Some people we have in common knows the post too. Look at that. Crazy. Sometimes you can't put boundaries because we are poor. What are you talking about? A boundary first starts off in your mind, and it gets to the place where it says, "Hey, I'm going to be free from this abuse no matter what it takes." If you want to talk about like poor because of boundaries, there's people that have had to start from scratch, that have lost thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars and have to start from scratch. There's people that have left in the middle of the night and have gone and checked into a homeless shelter with their kids to be able to survive. Boundaries don't have anything to do with money. They have to do with mindset. Your freedom has to do with your mindset. Do you know how I know that? Do you know why that's true? Your freedom starts in your mind. It doesn't start with anywhere else, because there's so many people that have been out of the relationship. There's people that have been struggling with the trauma bond out of the relationship for a longer period of time than they were in the relationship, and they can't get free even though they're physically apart from those people. Why? Because that freedom still hasn't happened in the mind, because they keep telling themselves a story. They keep going back to the narcissist, whether that's in their mind, whether that's actually in person, whatever it is, they don't have freedom, and that freedom starts in the mind. Do narcissists ever come home and change? No, they come home and manipulate. How are they demonstrating change? What's their plan of change? Is it talking better? Is it a half-ass apology and then they go right back to manipulation? That's not change. An apology without change behavior is just manipulation. Now we have to co-parent. Look up parallel parenting, and the BIF method. It's going to be your best resources. If you're going into the court system, use the BIF method. Also look up Judge Anthony or Anthony Bompiani. Check out his stuff because he's got a lot of good stuff about the court situation. Been almost 2 years and no Hoover. Does this mean he's happy with the new girlfriend and serious? No, it just means that he hasn't contacted you. The question would be, can he Hoover you? Can he come back? If he can, then you're just baiting. You're leaving the door open. It's going to happen eventually. Am I familiar with any of the Robert Greene books? I don't think so. You'd have to drop a title in here. I don't know. So you couldn't move out because you were sleeping on the couch. It's like, one, where do you have to move to? What family? What friends? What homeless shelter? What I'm saying is don't limit yourself saying there's no options. Too many people limit themselves saying that there's no options at all. A lot of times there's options, they're just crappy options. Smear campaign is pure evil and disgusting. Yeah. I've been out for 2 years, but I still feel trapped and bonded. If you've been out for a period of time and you still feel trapped and bonded in the mind, get into therapy, get into coaching. Like, I'd love to be able to talk to you. Go to rawmotivations.com, click on the link in my bio. If you don't want to talk to a self-aware narcissist about coaching your mindset, that's totally fine. Click on hashtag Narc Avengers and talk to any of the other 15. Well, any of the other 14, because Lee's one of them. So, okay. So, like, if you don't want to talk to a self-aware narcissist, then find someone else. But, like, that's what I do. This is what I do for a living now, is try to be able to educate people about narcissism, try to be able to help them heal, grow, and change, and try to be able to help them, like, rewire their mindset, because so many people are stuck with the trauma bond and they keep going back to a person that they know is toxic, that they know is going to hurt them, and they keep going back. Is there a limit from narcissists when we actually know it's over? The limit is when you set it. The limit was when you say no more. When you block ghosts, make sure there's no way for them to come back. That's the limit. Don't expect a narcissist to respect your boundaries after the relationship when they never respected it in the relationship. He cheated back and forth with me in current supply, but is with her now. Says he's happy. I feel awful. Yeah, because of the abuse, because of all the manipulation. But it has nothing to do with the supply. It has nothing to do with you. What if they own their mistakes but try to separate them from how they feel about you? He said it's two completely different things, his issues and his feelings for me. His issues are affecting your staying in the relationship. So if his feelings for him actually mean something, then his issues he would start putting more attention on in order to be able to have you in the relationship. But since he hasn't done that, you need to walk away. Is it okay to be no contact with an emotionally abusive adult child? Yes, 100%. What is the hardest trait you've struggled with as a narcissist? Early on, definitely lying and gaslighting. Will they let you go back and forth for years? Yes, they'll try to get back with you a lot of times. How did you know that you found the one? Like, for me, as far as like getting married, like, how did I know? For me, like, back then, it was just the next best thing to do. It was like this personal, the person before I got to, the person before I dated, the next person I got to engagement, the next person I married. Like, it was just like the next thing. Can you detect the narc on the first date? Not always, but slow the date down to a crawl and tell them no a couple times and see what happens. Also, you asked about the hardest trait I've struggled with. I just released a video today on YouTube at 4 o'clock Eastern time. That was me, like, telling just about some struggles, period. It's really interesting. Anytime it's consistent, it, like, Lee and I talk about this time, but anytime we release a video on YouTube that either is talking about self-awareness or talking about, like, us getting into therapy, it has the lowest views. So people don't care. They only care about, like, the painful aspect. They don't care about, like, what we're actually, like, trying to say, like, hey, get into therapy, or like, hey, this is what we struggle with. It's crazy. It's always that way. It's really consistent. It's kind of weird. What happens when you say no a couple of times? So you want to see how the person is going to react. So if you're saying no and, they're getting upset about it because they feel entitled, because you're hitting their ego, like, they're going to push your boundaries, they're going to break your boundaries, they're going to do whatever they can to try to be able to get through those, then you can start seeing, like, hey, like, this person is not good at respecting boundaries. Big red flag right there. Can we talk about the taboo topic of shamefully seeking a narc who's married? Like, you're just going back to a narc. It's just another addiction. Is there a self-aware narcissist support group somewhere? I think there is on Facebook. I don't know. I'm not a part of one. Lee was a part of one for a while, but I know he doesn't really engage that much with it anymore. I think he said it got a little bit too toxic. Imagine that. How do I get justice against a monster that raped me for years? If you can't go through like the legal system, the best thing you can do is cut them off completely and heal, grow, and change yourself. Focus on you. You're not going to hurt them. Does medication help with the narcissistic traits? No. Screw views and tell us what we don't want to hear, please and thank you. No, I am. It's up there. You can go watch it on YouTube. I'll keep producing it, but I'm not going to make like my channel like all about that. Channel would like die at that rate. No, I'm just kidding. Freezing a lot, or is it just me? I don't know. Am I freezing? Just tuning in. How'd you get into therapy for NPD? Was the influence of your wife telling you? No, it wasn't. Wife told me that I was a narcissist. I gaslit her. I told other people that I wasn't. Told them to go tell her that I wasn't. Didn't have anything to do with my wife telling me. There's actually a video on YouTube. Go under YouTube, look up Raw Motivations. That's me. And then look up Self-Aware Narcissist. It actually goes into that more in depth, like the whole progression. Some of the highlights was noticing that I had a cycle, getting to a place where I got tired of the cycle, going through Wake Up Warrior that challenged who I was and challenged the lies that I believe, lies between myself and God, between myself and my wife. And I also got with a girl who had BPD and narcissistic traits. It's probably my internet. My internet's been acting up. How to survive co-parenting mandated counseling for custody eval. Whew. You almost have to disengage and not react at all. Like that's the biggest thing, is not react at all and like let them say what they're gonna say and then calmly say like, you know, that's not true. This is actually what happened. But like be like really calm. Okay. I don't know why it's freezing. Some people say it's freezing on TikTok. I don't know what's going on. Did you ever Hoover? And if you did, what were your thoughts? I Hoovered my wife when she left. She reminded me of that the other day. Like I Hoovered her like a week or two after she left, and she like shut it down. It was just like trying to get her back, trying to have that control. You know, but at the same time, like I didn't want it. You know, I was just trying to like finalize, like, is this actually over so I can go move on with someone else? My ex married the woman he cheated on with me for our entire marriage. They're still married, could possibly be truly happy. She was cheating too before they're married. No, I doubt that they're happy. Because like the narcissist still takes themselves into that relationship. Like they still take all of them into the relationship, and without them healing, growing, changing, getting into therapy, like working on it, like they're still bringing all that baggage in. Do you believe in soulmates after going through therapy? How long have you been in therapy? No, I don't believe in soulmates after going through therapy, and I've been in therapy now for 6 months with EMDR. That's what Kayla said. I used to say 4 months, but she said it was 6 months. So 6 months EMDR, and then it's been about 17 months now. Every single week. He says it doesn't care where his validation comes from. Yeah, no, they don't really care. They just care to get validated. Not reacting, I won't seem cold. So not reacting to him, you can still have reactions to the situation. You can still show feelings, but not letting him purposely get underneath your skin, where you snap, where you have a tone, where you get frustrated. That's what I mean by not reacting. Kayla's doing well, Brensky. Appreciate it. So she was actually, we were thinking about having her drop in on the live tonight, but she's actually trying to, you know, settle stuff out and get stuff packed and stuff because we leave tomorrow to go down to North Carolina. So they don't change for no supply? No, they don't. They don't change for anybody. They have to change for themselves because they want to change. Narcissists don't want to change. They'd rather run from the guilt and shame. His new supply is listed at the bestest ever on his contacts. He says he's happy. My question is, why do you know that? Because if you know that, that means you're not no contact. And if you're not no contact, then you know, like, if you're not no contact, then you're signing up for the production. You're signing up, like, okay, think of it this way. When you don't go no contact, when you decide not to go no contact, and you decide to still keep that person involved, social media, you want to still watch them, you're literally raising your hand and you're saying, hey, please gaslight me, because that is what's going to happen. Like, grab the popcorn, get ready to watch, because they're going to put on a production that's going to convince everybody in the entire planet that the person that they found is their soulmate. So what New Supply is. New Supply is part of their production. It's the next actor and the next scene when we bring out the next mask to be able to convince the next group of people that they finally found happiness this time. Okay? I'm tempted to peek at his Instagram, but I fight. He's a waste of air. Absolutely, he's a waste of air. And the thing is, the time that you spend looking at someone else's social media, wondering, thinking, imagining, maybe it's better with the next person, is time you waste spending on you, focusing on your growth, your healing, your change. Does being a narcissist give you unexplained physical symptoms like anxiety, shaking, and weight loss? No. Maybe you mean, does being with a narcissist give you that stuff? Then yes. Being a narcissist, no. Why don't they check on their children? Spending time with the New Supplies are more important than their kids. Because their mask is more important than their kids. Your kids are an inconvenience to the narcissist. You need to understand that loud and clear. Kids are an inconvenience to the narcissist. The narcissist doesn't care about the kids unless the kid is helping to support their mask. If the kid makes them look like a good father or a loving wife, then yeah, absolutely. Kids are great until they're not. But underneath the surface, the narcissist only cares about people that will serve them. That's why a lot of narcissists don't like young kids, like babies to toddlers, because they don't adore them yet. They don't serve them. Parenting plans, BS, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Is there any way to get him to drop the kids? He's fighting for image and money. What I can tell you is this, because of people that have walked through it and people that have gotten full custody of their kids and people that have gotten to the place where they're actually doing well without the narcissist in their life, is sometimes they have to throw all the money at it, and the narcissist walks away with a lot of the money, but you walk away with the kids. Unfortunately, but that's true. A lot of narcissists will sell their kids for money. Can they genuinely love anybody? A narcissist can't genuinely love anybody until they get out of their own way. My narc said she couldn't have kids. She never told me why. From your kid talks right now makes me wonder. Maybe. When I knew I had a kid with his now wife because she wants kids, he doesn't. Yeah. But it'd be fair to say that narcissists have hobbies that allow them to have attention on them, having an audience, etc., or having constant supply. Yeah, absolutely. I have kids who has issues. He is using child to trap me. I genuinely love my horse, my dog, and that's pretty much it. Prefer their company over many people. Yeah, I get that. I'm glad that it's helping. I appreciate it. I had a miscarriage in front of him. He was so mean and cold and hearted. Denied it was his. Unfortunately, that story, as awful as it is not unusual. my ex narcissistic ex. If they're an XX, does that still make them? My ex narcissistic ex blocked me before I gone on a trip back home out of state just to upset me. I hope you blocked them. It's terrible that there's people standing for Monster. Did I miss something? Sean Bond is no joke. Yeah, 100%. Do you think the abundance of narc behavior is a social parenting problem that should be addressed? Yeah, absolutely. It's a societal parenting problem by families that are split apart, by families that are no longer engaged in their kids' lives, and by parents that have abused their kids over many years, thinking that that's how to lead another person. Why would he leave me and go after a married woman? I just don't get it. I was right there trying to love him because it's not about you. Like, that's the cold hard truth. Is a lot of times people are like, why would a narcissist leave someone like me when I'm giving them all this love? Because they don't care. It's not about how much love you get. It's about what they get out of the relationship. It's about their mask, their image. It's about looking for the grass being greener on the other side and deciding, hey, I'm going to jump ship and I'm going to go to the next person because this person's getting too close by holding me accountable or understanding who I am or providing that guilt and shame in my life that I don't like. It's about avoiding all that. Narcissists would rather have you get hurt than they would themselves deal with the pain of the guilt and the shame that they don't want to feel. A generational issue. Do you think gentle parenting will produce less parents? Gentle or like respectful parenting will produce less narcissists. Yeah, I do believe that. Grass is always greener, but it will never be green enough. Absolutely. Because a narcissist is like toxic to the grass. So as soon as they step on the other side of the fence, it withers and dies. And like, that's weird. It seemed greener before. So don't care about anyone ever, just themselves. So narcissist cares about their mask. Because sometimes people see that they only care about themselves and they think that is like self-love. It's not self-love. She watches my hacked phone daily. Her and her husband's pretty sick. If they've hacked your phone, get rid of your phone. I walked away from everything with my ex. It seems as though every person I've been with is a narc. It's possible because a lot of times when people get with one, they start going back because that's what they're used to. That's the norm, or that's what they think love is. So until you institute boundaries and change like your actions and behavior of like what you're looking for or what direction you're going and who you're going to allow into that, a lot of times people come back. Your video about back-to-back relationships helped me understand why they don't feel shame jumping from one relationship to another. What I don't get is how people doing it. What I don't get is how people doing it and support it. Like how people are engaging as the other person in that relationship back to back, or what? I'm not sure what you're saying. How people see them doing it. I didn't read the next one. How people see them doing it and support it. But a lot of times you see people. So the thing is, I'll try to make this clear. It'll probably not be clear. Okay. Sometimes people ask this of like, do I let the next supply know? Okay. What I say is if that next supply was the one that they cheated on with you, blah, 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 like, no, like, good riddance, because like they're the ones that like cheated on you, all that kind of stuff. But like, if you're a friend of a friend and you see a friend of yours that's getting cheated on, or that you know someone and that person is getting cheated on, and you claim to be that person's friend and you don't freaking tell them, just go ahead and leave their life because you're not a friend at all. Like, that was one of the things that my wife really struggled with because she had friends in her life that knew what was happening and never told her. And she had to look at them and be like, why did you never tell me? There's people in your life that have seen the narcissist in your life cheating and never said anything about it. They're just as toxic. They might not have the traits, but they were enabling. Stan Coaching in the house. What's up, Catherine? If you guys don't follow Stan Coaching, you can follow her on all the different platforms under Stan Coaching. Someone mentioned earlier about a narcissistic mom and dad. Stan Coaching has a narcissistic dad, so she got some good content on there too. After going no contact and educating yourself, what is your opinion on the next step of healing? Working on changing the story so you actually break the trauma bond and don't go back to a person that's toxic. Do you currently struggle with feeling empty even after having therapy? I would say some, not a ton, and definitely not as much as what it wasn't before. I think anybody struggles with feeling empty if they haven't defined who they are, or if they haven't defined where they're going. I've defined that a lot more than what I ever had before. When the narc breaks up with you, is the new supply always romantic? No, not always, like 95% of the time, 93% of the time. Seems like the group of narcissists around fuel each other's masking ego. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. I don't know what I shared that you're thanking me for, but you're welcome. Is leaving a narc on red still a form of no contact? No, it is not. It's not. It's not. Like, you think you're sticking it to them, but they still know that you're reading it. If you are able to leave your narcissist on red, if you're able to leave your narcissist on red, then they will probably eventually get you to talk to them. Like, the odds of you responding to a narcissist because you haven't blocked them, because you've left them on red, odds are that you're going to respond to them one day, I would say is probably as high as like 75, 80%. It's going to happen. Because if I know you're reading it, and I know you because I groomed you, I made you, you're mine, like, I'm the one that controls you. If I have groomed you and I know you, I'm going to eventually find the right thing to be able to say, and I'm going to keep doing it until I get you to respond. And then if you even respond with like a screw you, I'm just like, they still want me. No contact means you block, you ghost. No contact, it means, okay, no contact is this, that there is some way, think of it as a old telephone. Think of it as a cup with a string. Okay, whatever you need to think of. No contact means that you're over here, the other person's over here, and this is how we communicate. Text, phone, social media, anything. And when you go no contact, it means that this is cut, that this is broken, that all of a sudden there's no way for that contact to be there anymore. It's okay. It's okay that don't feel bad for reading it, okay? Just go ahead and block. Just go and do it. Just go and block. The thing is, you reading it didn't set you back 6 months. All it did was, hey, now I know. Now I'm going to block. Now I'm going to keep moving forward. Like, when you mess up, when you unblock them, when you make contact, when stuff like that, it doesn't put you back at square one. It does set you back a little bit, but doesn't put you back at square one. What it says is, okay, think of it this way. If you've been no contact 2 weeks, 6 months, and all of a sudden you break no contact, okay, first thought is like, oh crap, like, I just did this, I'm a failure. Okay, 1, you're not a failure, you made a mistake. Get back up and let's start working on your mindset. 2, what that showed you right there is there's something that needs to be worked through. There's a story that's telling yourself that actually made you go to your phone, unblock the person, and text them. What that actually is that's actually a gift that you're given in that moment, saying, hey, there is a potential for growth in this area. You can do 2 things with it. You can either drift or you can shift. You can shift your focus and start growing, or you can drift and be like, hey, I'm awful, I'm a failure. Like, what the heck? I'll just keep talking to them. The choice is yours at that point, but it's a mindset. What if you just never respond? Can you guarantee 1,000% that you will never respond to someone, even when they come after you, the dogs, your family, when they text you that, their mom just died, that they just died, like, whatever? Why are you going to take that chance? What do you have to prove? Block. Go no contact. Start living your life. Roller coaster of love in the house. If you guys don't follow, we got Coach Rowe in the house. Like I said before, we do coaching all the single time. I said, hey, if you don't want coaching from a self-aware narcissist, grab one of the other Narc Avengers. There's one of them right there in the house on TikTok. If you don't follow her on any of the platforms, you should. Coach Rowe, we got Roller Coaster of Love. Check her out. She's got some awesome stuff. She's got all the trendy, cool stuff that I can't do, but she's got super cool stuff. So check out her platform. She does coaching as well. I know I love this hat. That's one of my new ones. I love it. It's the warrior symbol. I love this one. I love the blackout one. Love the new videos she's doing on her channel. Yeah, she does awesome videos. Have you ever final discarded someone? Yes, a girl with BPD and narcissistic traits. Took me over 10 months before I was able to actually do it because of being stuck in that relationship and not wanting to let go. Can two narcissists be in a relationship? Yep, freaking toxic. Are narcissistic friends usually worse behaviors than them to look good, or are they more likely to be real passive? Either one. Doesn't really matter. Pin her. She's not in Instagram, so I can't pin her. But you can still find her on Instagram, Roller Coaster of Love. They aren't in his comfort zone. Yes, Brittany, they are not in my comfort zone, but I did do the door one. So that shows that I'm working on it. Would you go to your ex-narc's funeral? I don't really have an ex-narc except for the girl with BPD, but I would not recommend you to go to an ex-narc's funeral ever. Still contact. Like, they might be dead, but still contact. Like, stay away. The toxicity might leak out of the casket. Like no, seriously. Like, stay no contact. Narcissists are made. Trauma, abuse, overbearing parents, over-controlling parents, over-enabling parents. Do I still have to contact my narc about his son, even if he's not helping, providing anything for him, or even checking on him? You don't have to reach out unless it's like court mandated, and you can work on an agreement. Do I genuinely like animals? I don't mind them, but they're annoying. Just like people. For narcissists. Still contact. Yes. Any thought distortions, a loss of touch with reality, how to overcome them, and what triggers them? Are you talking about me as a narcissist? Are you talking about like you as a victim, or what? I'm not sure we're going with that. Do they try to keep tabs on you through other people even though they don't speak to you? Yes, it's called flying monkeys. They can be aware of flying monkeys or unaware. Can one male narky know another male narco? Yes. How? I thought once they were done with you, they're done for good. Not necessarily. Sometimes they'll come back 6 months, 6 years, 20 years. They're annoying. They need to eat. What an inconvenience. Yeah, I know, right? What does my ex always say she's going through something? Probably to one-up you. What's the biggest ego buster for a narcissist? Total exposure. What do we have to look forward to with Avengers? Will you all get together to do live? What's in store? Okay, so you're talking about the 23rd. So what you'll miss is you'll miss breakfast and coffee, and you'll miss lunch. But I do know after we do lunch, then the 5 of us are going to walk up to Lee's office that he has, and we're planning on doing a group live, which I'm like, this is going to be freaking cool because we're probably going to have like everybody's phones up on the wall and like put them all on live, and there's going to be 5 of us like sitting in person, like doing the live. I'm like freaking excited about that. I'm excited to meet all of them. And the only one that I've actually like met in person is Lee. So I'm like super excited about that. And then we go to the meet and greet, which is from 3 to 6. For people that come to the meet and greet and then want to hang out afterwards, we're probably gonna go to supper after that. So we'll probably like try to crash some big place as well if people want to like keep talking, interacting. But then from 3 to 6, I think like we haven't locked it down, but like the loose tentative idea is then maybe around like 4 o'clock, we might actually like get up and try to speak some. Nothing official, nothing scripted out, anything like that. But it is going to be something that we're going to try to like, if we're going to have a bunch of people there, we want to honor your time as well. And whether we can be an encouragement or anything like that. The 5 Narc Avengers that are going to be there. One is myself. Then we have Lee, Mental Healness. We've got Bree with Abuse is Abuse. We've got Dr. Carrie McAvoy flying in from Texas. And we've got Lisa Sunny, Stronger Than Before, flying in from Canada. 5 out of the 16. We're super excited. I'm going to try to see what I can live stream with it. The last time we did a meet and greet, I live streamed, but I felt like it wasn't very exciting. It was just on YouTube, but it wasn't very exciting because I just set the computer up. But if we're actually we're actually speaking, then we're either going to live stream it or we're going to record it. So we'll definitely have that. Next meet and greet is the 23rd. Oh, you're asking about the next one? The next one that's on the books is in October. And that's in Austin, Texas. Details to be determined. But Austin, Texas, October 15th is the next one that we all agreed on. I think right now we're looking at maybe like 8 of us being there. So that'll be crazy. That'll be pretty crazy. I don't know when we're coming to New York or other places. The girl with BPD you discarded, did you believe it was a forever thing, or did you look back and realize it was a lie? I thought it was a forever thing until I looked back and realized it was a lie. And that's the thing, is until you get to a place where you acknowledge the truth, you're stuck. So the live with all of us, all 5 of us. What time did I say? I want to say 1 o'clock. I want to say 1 o'clock on Saturday, give or take 30 minutes. Depends how fast lunch is. But just check out like everywhere. Brensky, we're actually thinking one of the couple places that we might be moving to would be Orlando, actually. Just FYI. Texas is a little too hot, so we might just end up moving to Orlando. Relocating there. And it'd be a nice hub, and we could like fly everywhere we need to be able to do more meet and greets. What was addictive about BPD? BPD are great supply because they're afraid of abandonment, so a lot of times they'll do anything. What's the most intimidating trait to a narcissist in someone who no longer tolerates the narcissist behaviors? What freaks the narcissist out? A person who knows who they are and has freaking awesome boundaries. Would your wife ever consider jumping on here with you? I think your insight might be interesting. Yeah, absolutely. We've been tossing it around. We've been talking about it forever. We just have to make it actually happen. Really, the next thing that's on the books is actually going to be probably a YouTube show and podcast of my wife and I. It's kind of the next thing we've been talking through and talking about. I think it'd be good to have her on because honestly, there's a lot of stuff that I don't remember. So there's a lot of stuff that I talk about that's in my wheelhouse, and there's sometimes that she'll like talk about stuff, and I'm just like, I didn't even remember I did that. Someone, if you guys didn't get a chance, check it out. I have it on Instagram, I think, right now. But we just had an article go out on USA Today about myself and Lee, about self-aware narcissists and about like change. It was really cool. It was a big honor to get interviewed by them. We were interviewed a little while ago, my wife and I, with someone else, and they asked her, they're like, why did you come back? And she said, I came back because of his changed behavior. Like when I came back, it was like night and day difference. And I asked her about it later. I was like, really? So, I mean, I look back on it and I know I've changed, but I don't know like how much I've changed sometimes. Like it doesn't seem like it because the stuff that's like way back there, like sometimes I don't even remember what I did. She was like, yeah, like you changed. She's like even just like you coming home and asking like how my day was and like interacting with me and like being nice. And I was like, I didn't do that before. She's like, no. So yeah, it'd be good for y'all to hear her perspective because there's a lot of stuff that like I don't remember, but I know is there. Do I need to subscribe for the show tomorrow? What show tomorrow? Today's Thursday. You should always subscribe to my YouTube channel under Raw Motivations. Dissociative amnesia. Yeah, I could see some of that. It's like a genuine forget, yeah, but there's also intentionality too. Are you ever tempted to just wild out and go back to destructive behaviors, lying, cheating, stonewall, etc.? Is it like addiction? Yeah, I can say the temptation's there. Temptation for anything like that is always there. But it's like going to the gym. It's like building up your tolerance against it. It's building up those muscles so that you can combat it every single day. So narcissistic persons don't fear abandonment. There's like a root base structure that I think gets triggered with that. Crosses over with BPD more lines of rejection. But narcissism, the main stuff underneath is shame, not abandonment. How they would connect is, if you abandon me, then I feel shame for not being good enough, or not being the person that my mask is saying that I am, like that kind of a thing. But like BPD, the raging river under BPD is abandonment. Actually, the core issues are similar. Yeah, absolutely. They just manifest in different ways. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about covert, passive-aggressive narcissists? You asking Narc how he feels about narcs? I just recorded a video on covert narcissism on my YouTube channel. I recorded another one. There's two that came out last week on Friday or the week before, and I just recorded another one about covert, passive-aggressive narcs. I fall closer on that category on covert side than what I realized as I was like reading through some of the stuff. Do you think as a narc ages, the fear increases? Subconsciously, maybe, not overtly. Does the narc? Yeah, so if yours is passive aggressive, if yours is covert, go and watch the YouTube video about covert narcissism. It dives into a little bit more, and I'm going to start diving into it even more. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad that helped. Yeah, so check it out. A sense of guilt for wrongdoings, yes. Like now knowing and being aware. How I came to be aware. Check out my YouTube raw motivations, and then look up self-aware narcissist. It goes more in depth on that. I'm holding my boundaries. Felt good to write him about gaslight, new supply, hoovering, ego, mask. He is a friend. I like my freedom. First, I suspected BPD, then look closer, begin to see a core morbid, but 100 a vulnerable narcissist and has other issues on top of that. Yeah. Block, ghost, no contact. Yeah. Vulnerable and grandiose are two different types. Yeah. There's actually new research that they're working on that's actually combining the covert and the vulnerable, or covert's becoming termed as vulnerable, but it's so new right now. Nothing's even published, and it's more confusing. So I still say covert. Thank you for subscribing to YouTube. I appreciate that. We're trying to get it slowly built up. Instagram just passed 50K just today. So that was like super cool. TikTok, we're trying to get it over the 100K hump. We're like at 94, 93, something like that. And YouTube is the hardest one to grow, not going to lie. Like all the other platforms, like you post. YouTube, you post, and like people don't show up. Like I don't know what it is. And like the videos are longer. Like we drop 2 videos a day that are at least like 11 minutes long. Trying to like dive deep. So if you don't follow, subscribe, hit the notifications. You get to see when we go live on there, like different things like that. And YouTube's going to be the one down the road that we're going to be doing more like shows on. Like where you can come on screen, you can ask questions more, like different things like that. How did you feel when people told you they thought you were a narcissist? I thought they were idiots. What are Narc's thoughts when we're doing no contact? that I've lost control and that everybody leaves me and I'm the victim because all these people don't want to be with me. Why do they do things covert and hurt the victim or codependent? Power and control to be able to get a reaction and then be like, hey, I caused that. My narc says he believes he's a good person despite his cheating. Do they really believe that? That's his mask that he's trying to uphold and trying to justify what he's doing. Then I'm a narcissist. I'm freaking out because I don't know where he is. What? Purposely try to have you do things, then drop out of existence on purpose. I don't know what you're asking there. Narcs always have a main supply? No, not always. I've kicked him out several times, but he still stalks me until I let him come back. I'm still trying to figure out why I take him back, knowing he still won't change. Just the story you're telling yourself, Jennifer. It's the story you're telling yourself that keeps letting him back in. So you're not being honest with the situation, honest with yourself, honest about him, saying what he actually demonstrates, and you're telling yourself a story that opens up that door every single time. That's why I work with people on a day-to-day basis to help them rewire their mindset, change the story they're believing. Phantom Wolf, I'm not exactly sure what you're saying. If you're worried that you're in the narcissist, look up the narcissistic traits. Reach out to me. Like, let's talk. I can walk you through some of that. Do they believe their own mask? They have to believe their own mask to be able to hide from the shame and guilt. Narc never thinks of the problem? No, not really. A narc can't be the problem, because if they're the problem, then that admits the guilt. If that admits the guilt, then that pulls out shame. That shame automatically says that, hey, your mask is invalid. Therefore, you're invalid. How do you confront a narc on their habits? Pack your bags and you walk out the door? Like, when's the last time you talked to your narcissist and you convinced them of something? You showed them something they did wrong and they admitted it, they apologized, and they changed their behavior. If you can't think of at least 10 or 20 examples, then you just need to walk away. My narc takes risks with our children. When confronted, he laughs, because those are boundaries, and he thinks that you're ridiculous for trying to put boundaries on him. Why do they destroy vacation with their families? Because vacation isn't all about them. My ex said his new girlfriend will get the better version of him than he learned from past mistakes. Better gaslighting, better lying, better cheating. Do you know the percentage of narcs actually making a serious permanent change for better themselves? I talk to 95% of the people that are narcissistic abuse survivors. 5% are narcissists, 0.5 come back. I would say 0.1 change. Permanent change, extremely very few. I don't think there's a percentage for it. He said he doesn't want me and have moved on but won't divorce. Why? Comfortable, money, image. You've been convinced you are wrong, haven't you? You've been convinced you're wrong, haven't you? Not necessarily convinced, but I admitted it. See, a lot of times just convincing someone doesn't actually make like a heart change. Is it wrong to forgive my narc? No, it's not wrong to forgive them. It's a wrong to put up with the abuse. Okay? There's a difference. You can reach out to me through any of the links. So if you click the link in my bio, or anybody can go to rawmotivations.com. rawmotivations.com, and you can schedule a one-on-one there. I think everything's filled up this week with the meet and greet, but next week's pretty open. How much time passed since your wife said you were a narcissist for you to start admitting it for yourself? I was already on that journey, so probably like a year. Is maintaining their image a narc trait? Not necessarily a narc trait, but it does feed their ego, their entitlement, their sense of specialness, and the idea that everybody's envious of them, which all four of those are narc traits. Why do they shame us after we act with reactive abuse? Because they just realize they controlled you. When the narc pushes you to a place where you have reactive abuse, then the narcissist loses respect for you. The narcissist loses respect for you even more because they're like, see, you just caved. I take some of that mentality into the business world or into like the mentoring sometimes of being like, hey, like if you have an idea you want to do, like if you have an idea you want to implement at the job and I can ask you 2 questions and you're like, never mind, that's not a good idea, then you didn't really believe your idea. So narcissists, a lot of times when they're actually like shaming you and devaluing you and trying to get you reactive abuse, and then like you do it and like, see, I did control you. So you have to be careful of that. I'm confused. Did I discard or did he? How do I figure it out? Why does it matter? If they were toxic, block, ghost, no contact, work on yourself. At what age were you and your narcissism began? A lot of narcissism will start forming from 6 months to 18 months. Disconnection from the primary caregiver, and then as they continue to grow, developing emotional maturity, how they're supposed to deal with guilt and shame. Then you have either abuse, trauma, overbearing parents, over controlling parents, over enabling parents. If he's so in love with her, why didn't he try to help with the divorce instead of making it 1,000 times harder? Shouldn't he want a divorce fully to be with her? Yeah, a lot of that goes back to image and money. Confronted about cheating and he never spoke to me again. No reply, just gone. That's good. Block and make sure you can't come back. We tend to reflect when alone. What it difficult for you to spend time by yourself, or do you just find distractions? Narcissists find distractions. This is why they're never alone. Narcissists are always getting someone. Can someone speak their truth without the narcissist retaliating? Not in the relationship, no. They'll exploit you in any way you can't imagine, and you can't imagine, yeah. What if they're into self-degradatory sexual behavior? Does that mean they think they deserve it? Good question. We tend to reflect when... Oh, I already read that. And your white shirt makes it impossible to read anyone else's comments. I am sorry that I'm wearing a white shirt. I do not have any other shirts down here to change into. My apologies that my white shirt makes it hard to read. I normally don't wear a white shirt on lives, especially when I was using like the phone specifically. Right now I look at all the comments on the computer. I know, that white shirt, gosh. I know, right? Like moderators like really aren't that big of a thing. Well, I mean, I think you guys are awesome, but I'm saying like moderators like back in the day used to be like, you know, knockdown drag out, like especially if you're on YouTube. Like YouTube, it was like brutal. Like we used to we used to port moderators from TikTok over to YouTube because you'd have everybody like spamming it. It was crazy. Everybody's been a lot nicer, so thank you all. Distractions are alcohol and drugs too, correct? Common to narcs, yeah. Anything that can use to sedate themselves. Is marriage not important to narcissists? No. It is for image. Do you ever give silent treatment to the people in your personal life? That wasn't my normal, like, I want to say like food of choice, but that's the wrong like word analogy. I can't think of it. But yeah, that wasn't the typical one that I would use. Went no contact 5 months ago, and my ex called me from a new number. Yeah. I can't see any comments in your lifestyles out. I'm sorry. Ruensky, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it. It's good to see you. Why do they say they didn't cheat when others confirmed that they did? They don't want to admit that. That's guilt and shame. Why can't they ever admit to cheating? Guilt and shame. Do I call him out if my kids be around when he says bad things? When I do, he says I'm loud and dramatic. I mean, it's not going to do much. It's not going to do anything. See, yeah, the complaints, these should be crazy. The narcs consistently have patterns. Yeah, cycles. Are almost not narcissists cheaters. Just some are sneaky, so I believe different for us. Yeah, I would say like 99% of narcissists are cheaters. Can being cheated multiple times on early on in their first relationship create a narc? No. Can two narcs be happy in a relationship? Can two toxic, abusive people be happy? Did your friends ever enable your narcissism? Maybe without knowing it because they didn't know what I had or what was going on. Do you think narcs are addicted to feel-good emotions? Yeah, absolutely. Like highs, adrenaline junkies. Mine did admit to cheating, but then said just joking. Yeah, testing your boundaries. Can BPD be physically abusive when they think someone is going to leave them? Yes. Do you think most love bombers are narcs? No. Can a narc heal or function? Can narcs heal, function, and manage with therapy and God? Is throwing things, punching walls around you a step away from hitting you? Yes. What's up with the white shirt? They don't like the white shirt on TikTok because the words are in white, or in Instagram, so they like blend in, like the comments blend in. It makes it hard to see. It's not like YouTube where it's like separate. The comments are on the screen. What do you suggest if I see him face to face? Well, first thing would be don't see him face to face. But if you like run into him, and I get where you're coming from. If you're running into him, ignore him. Thank you for liking my shirt. Some people get all butthurt about these shirts. Some people hate my shirts, especially when I'm wearing like the Lions Not Sheep shirt. Everybody gets like, yes, you don't see comments on the screen over there because that's YouTube. We're also on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. For a narcissist has to completely have a breakdown to be open to change. How was that for you? What was the breaking point? Breaking point would have been like admitting it and being honest. Maybe a couple other things, but it wasn't like a breakdown. It wasn't like a psychotic break or anything like that. When I confronted my narc, he first played the victim, and then he was angry because I told other people I was upset the whole thing changed. Yeah, absolutely. He admitted to cheating on me by kissing someone else, never admitted it to me. Oh, no, you're good. Do they block and unblock? Yeah. I cut off all contact with an narc for 3 months. Do I block his family too? If they're flying monkeys, if they're reporting back, if they're narcissistic, if they're toxic, then 100%. He gets attitude if I'm speaking on the phone with my family, not paying attention to him. How are you diagnosed with it? Through therapy? His new supply contacted me for the truth. Should I tell her? Is he still with the new supply? Like, what's going on? Why do they record fights and say they're just protesting themselves? They normally record fights to be able to show that they're the ones being abused and used against you. Would you personally experience narcissistic rage, like from someone else or from myself? Myself, yeah, 100%. How can you tell when they aren't lying? How can you tell when they aren't lying? Typically, the best way, so the number one way you can tell when a narcissist is not lying is when they're sleeping. Oh, just kidding. They'd still be lying because if you're lying on like the bed. How inconvenient is therapy for you? It's not that bad. It has good days, it has bad days. The majority of the time, it's encouraging walking into. Reason for seeking help, breaking the cycle. I was tired of the life I was living. Not the narc, but I started record for proof. Yeah, that's valid as well. I'm not saying you're a narcissist by recording. I'm just saying a lot of narcissists do record to record reactive abuse. Did you know different before being diagnosed? 100%. Knew that there was a cycle. I was tired of like going from like girl to girl. Knew there was lies. Knew there wasn't empathy. Knew I didn't care. Do you constantly struggle with anger emotion? No, not as much. Still there sometimes. Kind of help can a therapist offer? EMDR is really helpful, and then also therapy, like work therapy, like going back to like working on like inner child stuff like that. Recording per state. Well, a lot of people are not recording to use it in court. A lot of people are recording to prove that they're not crazy. Most recordings you can't like submit. So I was in EMDR for 6 months, and I've been in consistent therapy for 17 months now, weekly. Does a narcissist regret or feel regrets? No. Do I like therapy? Yes. I would say I like therapy. My therapist is crazy. She's crazy, but it's good. We do like some crazy work sometime, like energy work, like was it like it's muscle reaction stuff where she asks questions and like presses down on my arm at the same time and it like reacts to it. It's sometimes we go into like crazy stuff. Like I'll walk in, she'll be like, "Do you want to work on something old or find something new?" Sometimes I'm adventurous. Will they ever feel any remorse for what they've done? Without self-awareness, growth, healing, and change, no, they won't care. Is it normal to get flashbacks? Yes. Miss a toxic person? Yes, 100%. That's trauma bond, cognitive dissonance. Reach out for help. If you guys are in the trauma bond, journal, write down the truth, start acknowledging what's actually going on, start working to change the story so that you actually believe like the truth of the situation. Reach out, get into therapy, contact me or one of the other coaches to help you break out of the trauma bond. That's what we do. Okay. Why did they buy you expensive gifts and they're broke? That's love bombing. Control. Have you ever had a therapist that you could manipulate previously? Yes, which is why I don't have them anymore. Need help? Reach out. Would love to talk to you. You can go to my website, rawmotivations.com. You can click on the link in any of my bios. That's why I'm here, to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. Try to help that on a day-to-day basis. I meet with people every single week. I meet with people. There's some people that don't meet that meet with a therapist and meet with me. There's some people that they stop meeting with a therapist and they meet with me because like their therapist didn't understand narcissism, and a lot of therapists don't. Like that's the hard part. He has all the traits of a narc, but he says he isn't one because he still cares and he's not selfish. How does he demonstrate his caringness and his unselfishness? How does he demonstrate that on a day-to-day basis to you? Is it normal to get flashbacks? Yes, miss a toxic person. Yes, that's called trauma bond. Reach out for help. Can't believe I had time to be crazy over that loser. Honestly, they take your sanity. Yeah, 100%. 100%. If you guys are going to be in the North Carolina area, Saturday, we're going to be there 3 to 6. 5 of the Narc Avengers. 5 of 16. We're super excited. Myself, mental illness, abuse is abuse, stronger than before, and Dr. Carrie McAvoy. I get to meet Carrie tomorrow. I'm super excited about that. We're all driving down. We're going to meet her for supper tomorrow. Do coffee on Saturday. All 5 of us are going to eat lunch. We're going to do a live Saturday, Durham, North Carolina, Honeysuckle at Lakewood, 3 to 6 p.m. And we're going to do a live sometime in the afternoon before our meet and greet. Scared my ex-narc will kill me. Extreme physical violence. Use fake profiles to harass me. Threatens to show up my house. Threatened to kill me if I ever told because he's high-profile job. Get help. Get security. Get police. Get restraining order. Move. Ghost. Go no contact. Change your identity. Would you find yourself before ruining birthdays, holidays with the supply? Yes. Okay, so if you don't ruin his life, don't ruin yours. So go to the place where you ghost, go no contact, move, like whatever you need to do to protect you. How do you know when they've lost? How do they know when they lost control? So I can't think of an illustration off the top of my head. The narcissist knows they've lost control when there's no way for them to control the situation. There's no way for them to control you. Like if you're driving and the steering wheel pops off and the gas and the brake pedal no longer work, you've lost control. Like, what does that mean? It means you no longer have contact with the brakes, with the gas, and with the steering mechanism to actually stay in control of the vehicle. A narcissist loses control when you take away every option for them to be able to manipulate the direction that your life is going. Are narcissists ever misdiagnosed? Yes, 100%. BPD, OCD, ADHD. How long does love bombing last on average? 6 to 12 months. Average. Don't quote me if it's shorter or longer. Do they always try to get control back? 98% of the time. Do you feel like for yourself that you've accumulated other personality traits and you're a product of other people, since narcissists do not have a sense of self? I would say yes, that's changing, growing, and developing, but yes, along the way, absolutely. Do you think therapists are afraid to diagnose people as narcissists? Yes, because it's a dead-end personality disorder. That's how it's been phrased. That's how it's been looked at from Freud. Some of that stuff is changing. There's people actually doing more work to figure out how to help people like this, me included. But I also think therapists are afraid to diagnose it. 1, because they don't understand it. 2, they haven't experienced it. 3, there's not money in it. You're trying to diagnose someone that's going to get pissed off and never come back to you, and you can't prescribe drugs. It's a lot of work. How do you get to them? How do you hurt a narc? I'm actually working on writing some of that out. How to hurt a narcissist. Why would he go no contact with me? He was the one that blocked me. Control. How he can come back in your life whenever he wants. Can they become dangerous, especially when you went no contact and move on? Yes, they can. When a therapist goes to a person they consider a narcissist, ethically they shouldn't. They should reflect them to someone else. Are you familiar with BPD? A little bit. We don't talk about BPD. Last time I read the 9 traits of BPD on TikTok, all the BPD people came from my life. And I'm like, I just read the traits. The girl that I was with had BPD and narcissistic traits. How can they become dangerous? They hit you, beat you up, poison you, unalive you. Celia, yeah. You remember that? It's been a while, right? It's been a while. Not too many people remember that. It's kind of like an inside joke with me and Lee. Then Heather, because she was around for that too. But yeah, all I did was I just read it, literally opened it up and read it from the DSM-5, and people started coming after me. It was pretty interesting. Come check us out Saturday. If you guys are watching on TikTok or on Instagram, please just do me a favor. Do me 2 favors. At least one of them. Either go to YouTube, subscribe under Raw Motivations for me, please. Help build that platform and community. For everybody else, help build the community that we're working on inside the Narc app. We go live every Monday night where people can come on screen. They can share their story. They can talk. They can ask questions. We've got courses on there. If you're wondering about how to construct boundaries, what do boundaries look like? Bree from Abusive, she wrote a whole course that's on the app. Coach Rowe, Roller Coaster of Love, she just dropped a course on the app as well that's talking about healthy dating after abuse. We've got a place where you can actually... No, it's called the Narc app, N-A-R-C. You can download it on Apple and Google Play. So we also have monthly coaching. We also have monthly coaching that happens there, whether that's me or whether that's another creator or a psychologist or anybody like that coming in. to be able to help you guys grow, heal, and change. Like that's what's there. So like you can sign up for like other people that have like monthly like coaching groups, coaching calls that I don't know. I've looked at some of them. They're typically like 10, 15, 20, 30 bucks as far as like coming in there. Narc app on this premium supporter is $20 a month. You get the monthly coaching. You can track your no contact. You can record your truth. You can ask advice from survivors, from people that are in there. You can book you can book services like with me, with other people on there, with other creators like Bree, Lee. Like you can book from like any of those people inside the app. If you're a premium supporter, you can get like discounted sessions, like quick check-ins. A lot of times, like I guess you could say like the wait list in one sense is like faster in there. There's a lot of different things in there. You can watch previous lives that we've done recorded in there. I was trying to think, what else am I missing? What am I missing? Monthly coaching calls. Like the monthly coaching calls are not necessarily geared towards narcissism. The reason why is you're already on all these platforms getting all the free stuff of like, hey, this is what narcissism is. Like the monthly coaching calls are focused on forward growth, forward momentum. Like how are you developing good habits? How are you setting your attentions? How are you getting clarity about who you actually are, your vision, your values? How are you living in congruence with who you want to be and who you are right now? Like how are we progressing forward? That's the goal of like the monthly ones. The weekly ones, those are still around narcissism. Those are still those are still different things like that we go through and people come on screen. We talk about those. Seems very narcissistic to make us pay for that. This is my one and only job. So like producing content, meeting with people, coaching people every single day is what's providing for my family. And I don't say that to be like a woe is me. Like I don't really care if you come like work with me or if you work with another coach. But what I'm saying is if you've been through a narcissistic relationship, like you need help, whether that's a therapist, whether that's a coach. Like I said earlier, like if you don't want to get coached by me as a self-aware narcissist, like I get it. And frankly, like it's no skin off my nose. Like type in Narc Avengers, #Narc Avengers, and go find any of the other coaches out there that I know have your best interest in mind. Okay. My job every single day is to engage with people the best I can to help with three things. Number one is to break out the trauma bond, where you're like, hey, I know this relationship's toxic, but I still want to go back. It's to get through the limbo land of ruminating, of like, hey, like I'm still stuck and I still keep thinking of like, maybe I'm the narcissist, maybe I'm the toxic one. And then also like building the vision and values of then how am I going to continue living my life forward? Am I changing my mindset and working on setting boundaries so I don't go back to the narcissist, is so that I don't get with a narcissist in the future. Those are the three goals that I try to walk people through. Okay. It's cheap for what you get. I'm trying to have it that way so it helps people. I mean, that's the goal. Honestly, like I had the idea of the Narc app back in December, and I was debating it, and I even like talked to my wife, and I was like, I don't know if I should do it or not. And, like we were even looking at it and being like, should we spend the money? Like we're not even in the business at that point enough. Like, should we actually like invest in it? And I talked to Lee about it, and I'll never forget like what he told me. He was like, go ahead and do it before someone with ill intentions does it. Since I've developed the Narc app, I've seen two other people that are making moves on an app. And one of them I know is definitely not have your best interest in mind. Just put it that way. Not on these platforms to bash anybody, but I do know there is people on these platforms parading themselves around as either victims or empaths that are trying to help people, that are pretending to try to help people, that are just trying to get with people. So please be careful. I shaved. Yeah, I shaved. I got a haircut. I'm trying to get like all nice for the meet and greet coming up. I have the tea. Yeah, I do have the tea. There's a reason why there's certain people that are blocked. Gene, I will neither confirm or deny. If you want to speak to me one-on-one, you can click on the link in any of my bios. You can go to rawmotivations.com. If you have the Narc app, you can book inside there. If you have the Narc app and you're a premium supporter on the Narc app, click on the premium supporter tab. The one-on-ones and the coaching, coaching sessions and all those are like 15% off in there. Trying to be able to help out as well. You can go to rawmotivations.com. You can go to calendly.com/rawmotivations, that too. So we're out there everywhere we can be, trying to be able to help people. We're dropping truth every single day on all the social media platforms. Like right now we drop five shorts a day and 2 long videos on YouTube a day. Rachel, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Stacy, thank you. I appreciate it. These girls saying you look so handsome. Yeah, no, you'd be surprised. Like sometimes like people that DM me is like, I had someone that DM'd me on Instagram the other day, and they were like, hey, and I like normally when someone like just like sends me a message like on Instagram and they're like, hey, or like it's kind of like okay, like where's this going? I normally just send like the link right away. I'll just send like raw motivations or something like that. And this person like said like, hey, then like I sent the link and I think they said something. I was like, how can I help or whatever? And they answered back and they just said friends. And I was like, okay, block. I was like, not engaging with that. I'm not opening that door. No, not gonna lie, it's like late. We should be getting off. Not gonna lie, so on like Instagram, so like TikTok, if you try to message me on TikTok, it just doesn't come through. Like they've changed the settings on it. So TikTok, it's no offense to y'all. If anybody wants to message me, like do it on Instagram. Facebook, I don't like it. I still respond, but like Instagram is a lot easier for me to like respond to. I'll normally answer like a question or half a question, then like direct you to my link, just because when everybody messages, it gets really hard to respond to everybody. Especially now that Instagram just passed 50,000, which is amazing. Y'all are awesome. I really appreciate it. Don't wear a white shirt. I won't wear a white shirt next time. Dude, get over it. Thanks, Sela. What was I gonna say? Oh, okay. So funny story. Funny/awkward. Funny story. So on like Instagram, whenever you get messages, you have to like accept them, right? And so sometimes people send me messages that are just like pictures, and like 99% of the time it's like text messages between them and their ex, and they want me to like decode it or anything like that. Nobody like blocked me real quick, okay, here, but like I accepted it, and it was like this guy that sent me pictures of his butt, like etc., like nothing else, but just his butt. Like it was just like mooning me. There's like 3 pictures, and I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, I guess he didn't have anything better to do. So sometimes you get trash stuff that comes through, which is just like crazy what people do. But anyways, y'all have been awesome. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great night. We'll be back live Monday night, 9:30 to 10:30 inside the Narc app, 8:15 to 9:30 before that, someplace on social media throughout the week. Hit or miss, so just keep those notifications turned on, and you'll be able to see when we pop up. Wednesdays, we'll be back 9 to 10 p.m. This Wednesday coming up, it'll be on my YouTube channel. So if you don't follow me on YouTube, go to YouTube, go to Raw Motivations, be myself, Mental Healness on YouTube, doing question and answer, okay? And then we'll be back Thursday. Saturday, we'll be live sometime in the afternoon, probably like 1 o'clock. and then also someone we're doing the meet and greet. So again, Durham, North Carolina, this Saturday, 3 to 6 p.m. Honeysuckle at Lakewood. 5 out of 6 of us. Can't wait till y'all come to Texas. October, put it in your calendar. The date is set, period. We're coming to Austin, Texas, October 15th. The date is set. So it's that one's locked in. Cool. Yeah, if you live in Texas, you can drive to Austin. It's a big state. You're used to driving anyways, right? Where in Austin? I don't know. That's too far out. But it's going to be in Austin, October 15th. We're still working on South Georgia. Well, you're closer to North Carolina. You can make it up that way. Just kidding. Do you look through comments for content from your lives, for YouTube, for TikToks? So all my TikToks are all of my shorts are responses from TikTok. So far, I haven't engaged hardly with like comments and stuff on some of the smaller stuff on all the other ones. Where will you be? In Durham, North Carolina, July 23rd, this Saturday, 3 to 6 p.m. Honeysuckle at Lakewood. Who else will be in Texas? I don't know off the top of my head who else is going to be in Texas. I think it's like 7 or 8 of the Narc Avengers. I know like me and Lee, obviously. So Instagram like died, like logged me out. That's weird. But yeah. So anyways. There we go. Anyways. I don't remember where we are. We're getting off. But anyways, thank you all so much. Appreciate it. If y'all just got on, you didn't get a chance to see any of the live, go to YouTube. That'll be on there. You can watch it. Awesome. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. IG hating, that's why you love TikTok the most. TikTok's just the easiest to have drafts, to go through comments, to, you know, what I do is I go through and let's say you put, so here's the thing, like let's say you put like a good question on a video and I heart it, I like it, 9 times out of 10 that means it's in my drafts. Like a lot of times I'll go through, like sometimes I'll go through and like heart stuff, maybe someone did a question or whatever, but I'll go through and like when I heart stuff on like when I like it on TikTok, it normally means either I acknowledge that you wrote that or it's in my drafts. And then from there, I sit down and record a bunch of them like all at once that I can post throughout the week. So that's right now we post five a day. And then the YouTube ones we do what did I say? 2 a day. So 11 o'clock and 11 o'clock and 4 on YouTube each day. Vicky, your one-on-one helped me become the me I am today. Yeah, the me you are today is awesome, Vicky. Super excited to see you. We're going to swap music. I don't know if you, I sent you one the other day. We just have good taste in music, so I'm excited to see you. Is Catherine an Avenger? Instagram did go down. I got logged out. I think the device overheated. Catherine is an Avenger. Absolutely. So we've got 16 of us right now. If you do hashtag Narc Avengers, you'll find most of us pretty much everywhere. Sometimes we alternate. Sometimes we don't always use the hashtag. But yeah. Anyways. Jules, Hearts with Jules, she was doing something. She like messaged all of us in the group the other day and asked for like a headshot and also like our Narc Avenger like character and like favorite colors. So she's actually like putting something together. I don't know what it is yet. She like previewed mine. It looks pretty sick. So I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah. Lee actually has a banner. He got a banner made the other day. It's going to be at the event. It says hashtag Narc Avengers. We haven't made like an actual logo yet. We're going to do that. I'm going to get one of the guys on my team to help with that probably. So excited about that. It's going to be fun. We're working on the website too. There's a lot of stuff working. It's crazy. But anyways. I think that's all I got. Cool. Y'all have a great night. Thank you guys so much. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Peace out. Y'all have a great night.